Hi, and welcome to another AccuNet Acumatica Tips and Tricks session. Today's session is part two of a three-part series on managing data on an import scenario without having to modify the data file. So, like in our first session, we're using an import scenario that I'm calling Demo Import Customers, and we're getting our data from an Excel file that we're positing comes from an external system over which we don't have control of the data format. And as you can see, it's a listing of potentially new customers, and we want to enter these into Acumatica via the import scenario. So today, in order to take care of one issue, we're going to use something called substitution lists. Notice the state over here has the old style abbreviations, periods, more than 2 letters, and we want to use what Acumatica is currently using, which is the U.S. Post Office's standard 2-letter abbreviations for states and Canadian provinces. So let's take a look. I'm going to import the data because I've already assigned the file. And again, notice these state abbreviations are not what Acumatica expects. And in the first session, we looked at a couple ways we could change it, but all of those ways would be a little tedious. And we'd have to do that every time we did one of these extract files. So we're going to use something that we can't do from here in the import by scenario, but which we can do in the actual import scenario. So instead of just saying we want to take the state value from the spreadsheet, that's the bracket state end bracket, and put that into the account address state field within Acumatica, what we really want to say is we want to put in this field the substitute listed value in this substitute list, because there can be multiple. Let's take a look at a substitution list. So it was called old state abbreviations to new. So notice it's old to new because a substitution list is a one-to-one mapping of values from the import file and a list of substituted or substitution values that are the ones that are actually going to be put into the field in Acumatica. So notice we have the old abbreviation for New York and period Y period. The substituted value will just be the 2 letters NY. And similarly, for ones that had multiple letters, Ohio is just listed as a whole word. And so one thing to note is that in this example, I've only used the values pretty much that show up in the spreadsheet. So let's presume, however, that we eventually get a spreadsheet that has new values. We don't have to do anything special to the import scenario itself. We just come into this substitution list and we can add a new list. So let's say we're going to add Arkansas, which is in the old style, I think was ARK period. And in the new abbreviation, it's AR. So we save that, and that would be part of the list now. And anytime it saw this, it would return those 2 letters. So let's just take a quick look and make sure it works. So again, note it has the old abbreviations. We've prepared the data. I'm going to toggle the activation because generally we don't want to import all of them. We just want to import a couple of them to see if everything's working before we do all of them. So we'll save that. We'll import. It succeeds. And now if we look over here at the customers, or we look for any customer number that starts with C00, and here's those first two values from our imported, our prepared data, Alto, Ace, and Baker Development. And notice that the states have been translated into the two-letter abbreviations that Acumatica likes. So, hope you've enjoyed this brief overview of using substitution lists in import scenarios to handle data that's in a different format on the input file than we want in Acumatica. Thank you for listening, and if you have any questions, please feel free to reach out to us. Thank you.